I will share with all of you the highlights of my research paper on the revolt by Queen of Jhansi in 1857 against the British Empire. At the outset, I wish to say why this topic is so important to me. Since childhood, I have heard about the Indian Revolt of 1857 from many elders, and subsequently I also heard about Rani Lakshmi Bai, the significant role that she played in the Indian Revolt of 1857 from the folk song Khoob Ladi Mardani Wo To Jhansi Wali Rani Thi, which means well fought the woman warrior, she was the Queen of Jhansi. I repeat, which means well fought the woman warrior, she was the Queen of Jhansi. Being born and brought up in Sagar, a small town in central India, I have on a number of occasions visited places such as Lalitpur, Madanpur, Damoh, Gwalior and Jhansi, and these were the sites of freedom struggle in 1857. I have also heard stories from my elders how the fights took place in these various places, how the villages were destroyed, how the people were hanged. And therefore, in the last 2 years, I have done this research which I am going to share with you. Rani Lakshmi Bai was a great military leader, and she propagated scorched earth policy wherein she told her colleagues and people and her followers to fell the trees in an area around Jhansi between two places, that is Jalon and Kalpi. Now she told this to her followers so that the British could not make use of these trees to hang the Indian rebels, and also the trees were not there for them to take shade in the sun. I will read out what this folk song is. It says, "Fell the trees, commanded the Rani of Jhansi, lest the foreigners hang our soldiers on them, so that the coward British may not be able to shout, hang them in the trees, and so that in the hot sun they may not have any shade." She raised an army to fight the formidable East India Company forces out of common citizens, out of men, women, from all caste and class. And she improvised the equipment, she improvised all the resources that were available in the region. And thirdly, Rani Lakshmi Bai was a great leader. She possessed phenomenal capacity to inspire her followers. The valiant act of guarding the main gate of Jhansi fort by Khudadad Khan, he was a colleague of Rani Lakshmi Bai, and his last words are also given out in a folk song which says, "We have to die one day, brother, and I shall choose today. For our queen I shall lay down my life. I shall hack the foreigners with my sword, and the world will forever remember me." With this as a short introduction, I will cover my presentation in the following 5 parts as shown on the slide. In the 100 years preceding 1857, the British carried out a systematic loot of the economic resources of India. And this fact is so very well described by Shashi Tharoor, an famous Indian author, in his book, An Era of Darkness. In fact, in this book he says that the India's share of world trade fell down from 27% to a single-digit figure. This economic exploitation of India, plus the disruption of the social, religious and cultural structure of the Indians, finally led the Indians to revolt in 1857. The revolt happened at a time when the British Empire was at its mightiest, and the revolt came totally out of the blue for the British, took them by total surprise, and almost brought the British Empire to an abrupt end in India. The events of 1857 have been accorded different titles as per the viewpoint and as per the period of time. While the British chose to call it the Sepoy Mutiny, meaning they were wanting to tell the world that this historical event was a mere action by few disgruntled sepoys of the Bengal army, While on the other hand, there were people like the former Prime Minister of UK, Benjamin Disraeli, and Karl Marx, the famous German historian and philosopher, who called it a revolt. And in the beginning of 20th century, V.D. Savarkar, the famous Indian freedom fighter, called it the First War of Independence, in which he implied that this event was not merely a mutiny by few sepoys of the Bengal army, but it was a rebellion by all sections of Indian society. The rebellion started from Meerut on 10th May 1857 and then spread to Delhi the next day, and from Delhi it spread to other parts of the country like wildfire. The main centers of rebellion were at 5 places: Delhi, Lucknow, Kanpur, Meerut and Jhansi. In Delhi, the British forces and the rebels fought fierce battles for 4 months till September 1857, and when Delhi was finally captured by the British forces. The revolt was brutally suppressed by the British forces. The total casualties of the British were 3,000, whereas there were almost 2 to 5 million Indians who died in the revolt. And though unsuccessful in the end, the revolt undermined the prestige of the British Empire and forever changed the impression of the British Empire in the eyes of the world. It has also been said no military event in the world in the 19th century has led and has produced so much of literature as much as the Indian Revolt of 1857. And this was indeed a global media event of the 19th century. I now come to part 2, the formative years of Rani Lakshmi Bai. Rani Lakshmi Bai was born as Manikarnika, meaning the river Ganges, on 19th November 1828. She was born at Varanasi and her name was changed to Rani Lakshmi Bai after she got married. Her childhood was spent under the watchful eyes of Nana Sahib, a fellow colleague who also became a famous freedom fighter of 1857, where she learned sportsmanship, shooting and horse riding. She got married to Gangadhar Rao, the king of Jhansi, in May 1842, and the couple had a son in 1852. However, the child died in the first 4 months. In the next slide, you can see Gangadhar Rao, the king of Jhansi, passed away in November 1853, and setting the stage for Rani Lakshmi Bai to assume the responsibility of the state of Jhansi. I now come to part 3, that is the battles that were fought by the Queen of Jhansi against the British. As you can see the photograph, the British East India Company forces opposing Rani Lakshmi Bai were led by Major General Hugh Gross, a seasoned general officer who had entered India only in September 1857. And General Hugh Gross was born in Berlin. His father was a parliamentarian from UK. He had successfully fought the Crimean War, and he had a very rich diplomatic experience and a battle-hardened soldier. The battles fought by the Queen of Jhansi against the British, the Central India Field Force, the outfit that fought against the rebels in Jhansi, was headquartered at Indore, and as I said, it was led by General Hugh Gross. The Central India Field Force comprised of 2 brigades, and each brigade had and the total strength was 4,300 men, majority of whom were Indians. Each brigade had elements of infantry, cavalry, that is the horse cavalry, engineers and artillery. And the regiments were battle-hardened after having participated in numerous campaigns. And between January and June, the rebels engaged the British forces in maneuver warfare, moving under the cover of jungles and rugged terrain from one place to another, and gave a stiff resistance. I now come to the battle for capture of Jhansi. As you can see, the Jhansi fort is located on an elevated rock and was garrisoned by 11,000 rebels, and the defences were coordinated by Rani Lakshmi Bai. The fight for the capture of Jhansi continued for 17 days and the defenders fought a heroic battle. Before the fort was about to be captured, Rani Lakshmibai along with 300 followers and Damodar, the adopted son on her back on the horse, escaped with a view to continue the fight from another location. In fact, on that night, she rode 120 miles in 24 hours. I now come to the battle for capture of Gwalior. Major General Hugh Grose planned multi-directional attack on Gwalior from 4 directions. The advance by infantry and cavalry was well supported by artillery. The British forces and rebels engaged in fierce battles, including hand-to-hand fight. Rani Lakshmibai led a combined force of the Scindias and Kalpi rebels effectively. On 17 June 1858, Rani Lakshmibai died bravely on the battlefield when she was hit by a sharp weapon of a soldier of 8th Hussar Regiment. I now will share 3 major lessons learned from these battles that were fought. Firstly, the rebels lost to the British forces mainly because of lack of battle experience, limited training, average standard of weaponry, lack of intelligence, and disjointed efforts due to lack of communication. The second lesson that emerges was that the British, by virtue of centralized planning, availability of resources from a wider geographical area, and better intelligence network, were able to address multiple points of rebellion in a sequential manner. They therefore could capture Delhi, Lucknow, Kanpur, Allahabad, Jhansi one by one in a staggered manner, and ensuring that at each place there was a preponderance of force. So this was the second lesson. And the third important lesson was that despite suffering reversal and despite militarily losing this revolt, the rebels achieved huge psychological victory over the British, because it proved that the mighty British Empire was not invincible. It also changed forever the way the British looked at Indians. It also led to the demise of the British East India Company. From 1858 onwards, India was being ruled directly by the Crown. It also led to far-reaching changes within India, which enabled Indians a greater role in the participation in the government, in the administration. I now come to part 4, Rani Lakshmibai as a leader. During the course of 1857, Rani Lakshmibai emerged as one of the most competent and respected leaders. And as I said, she possessed military virtues of a warrior, and she possessed great human virtues, and that gave her this deadly combination of an unbeatable leader. She possessed tremendous qualities to galvanize men and women from all caste and class in a cohesive force. Her army consisted of a substantial amount of women in different roles. There were women as gunners, there were women as intelligence officers in logistics. And the best tribute to Rani Lakshmibai was paid by no one else other than her own main opponent, Major General Hugh Grose. Major General Hugh Grose, after 5 months after the battle was over, when he was writing his memoirs in Pune, and when he was writing about Rani Lakshmibai, he said that although a lady, she was the bravest and the best military leader of the rebels, that she was a man among the mutineers. I now come to the last part, legacy of Rani Lakshmibai. After the death of Rani Lakshmibai, numerous legends have grown around her. One of the legends is that in 1854, when she was informed by Major Ellis that the British government had decided to annex the Jhansi state, Rani Lakshmibai has reportedly said in a very clear voice, "Mera Jhansi nahi denge," which means that I will not surrender my Jhansi. And there are many more acts of bravery and compassion ascribed to her. Over the decades and the last 1.5 century, Rani Lakshmibai has gone through various stages of mythification and has become a national symbol of courage valor and compassion. Rani Lakshmibai has inspired numerous biographies, comic books, historical narratives, films and even television series in India. She has also inspired many British and European scholars who have written about her bravery and courageous persona. In the modern Indian world, she is seen as a symbol of women emancipation and a courage of conviction. In the end, to conclude, I would say that the Indian Revolt of 1857, which almost brought the British rule to a sudden end and which lasted for 2 years, led to the emergence of Rani Lakshmibai as the most revered leader. The legacy of Rani Lakshmibai continues to inspire Indians even after 1.5 centuries after her death. The most inspiring memory in every Indian today is of the final moments of Lakshmibai riding her horse in male attire, covered with armor, with her child secured on her back, and dying on the battlefield on 17 June 1858 for saving her beloved Jhansi from falling into the hands of the British. And lastly, I will request all of you to please share with me any queries that you have on my email ID, which is rsthakur41126@gmail.com. I have finished my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.